Howdy folks, this is BelGeode. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator, and this is a test, otherwise known as one of my chill vids, as per usual. Okay, so I'm hoping that this recording is going to come out okay, because AMD has given us yet another driver update. And I don't know, these driver updates that we're getting are starting to become a little bit unstable as far as I'm concerned, but I'm hoping that this will actually record right. In any event, the helicopter that we're going to be showing off today should be very familiar to you if you are a longtime viewer of the channel, or even if you are a longtime fan of the TV show Airwolf. This is, of course, the Bell 222 Bravo model. Now, you'll remember that in previous videos, we showed the UT model, which was the one that had the skids. So this is the one that has the wheels. I love the wheeled version. The wheeled version is awesome. So I figured, since I showed the other one, might as well show this one as well. And it just so happened that I had a golden opportunity pop up that would allow me to showcase this helicopter in a helicopter-friendly environment. Now, what am I talking about? You may have noticed the last few episodes seem to have become the Clifford episodes. Well, we're going to continue that trend today. So pretty soon, as of the time of this recording, probably about a week or two, depending on Microsoft and their release cycle, we should be getting a new Clifford Philippines product. In particular, Manila Bay, Philippines. So what this will do, of course, if you've seen in previous videos, is it'll add custom scenery for the Philippines. In particular, the the Manila Bay region along the coastline. So there's plenty of helipads for us to explore. We're only going to pick a couple of them to land on. And of course, there's airport updates and the scenery and scenery objects around the area. So I figured this will be our chariot for today. We had a lot of good fun with the 222 UT, so I'm pretty sure we can have that same amount of fun with the 222 Bravo model. All right, and in addition to that, I'm also testing out a brand new thing. So I haven't featured their products a lot on this channel, if at all, and I'm talking about Parallel 42's SimFX. SimFX, of course, adds things like tire smoke, which I can hear Sergio gritting his teeth and rolling his eyes right now. Tire smoke, as well as rotor downwash on land and over the water. It even adds stuff like Aurora Borealis into the flight sim, which sounds pretty cool. I just bought it. We're going to see if it actually works on this particular helicopter, or if this helicopter is not compatible as of yet. And then, of course, we also have Active Sky for Microsoft Flight Simulator going, and as you can see, Active Sky says that currently in the Philippines it's partly cloudy. It is afternoon, however. I set the time manually, so I'm not reflecting real life time in the Philippines, because I'm pretty sure it's night by the time that I'm recording this. But with that having been said, I think we have chosen a great day to go flying. So let's check out the external static cameras, as I always do. Alright, so the first static camera, pretty self-explanatory, behind the bird. Looks nice. I have nothing further to say other than I like it. I really like it. And then we got the BelGeode landing cam. Cowan, yeah, remind me to make some tweaks to this one, because it appears to be a little low, shall we say. It probably needs to come up by about 0.5 or so. I'll know what to do. I'll put the tweaks in there. I'll send you the cameras.cfg. But yeah, just know for right now, this is where you're stuck. And then, of course, the starboard side view, pretty stock standard. And the port side view. Okay, yeah, we got a problem here too, Cowan. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. I should have reviewed this before I actually pressed record, but that's okay. We're going to work with it. Now, one thing I do notice, a lot of the textures on this, I don't know. They seem a little worse off than the UT variant, and I'm not sure why that is. I know this one was developed a little bit earlier as far as Cowan's line of helicopters go, but it almost seems like this one might need a little bit of love there because, yeah, I'm seeing pixels. I'm seeing a lot of pixels. But with that being said, this is still my favorite livery, so we're going to rock this one. I know it's not Airwolf, but you know what? As close as I can get, so there we go. All right, but now that we have checked out the cameras, I'm going to hop into the bird and see if I remember how to start this thing without a checklist. All right, but before we actually get started, let's pop open the toolbar. Okay, so we can once again confirm checklist. No checklist. Yeah, no checklist. So both 222s have that same limitation. But look at this little icon here. This is the Parallel 42 SimFX. And when you open this bad boy up, you can see it says Cowan 222B. It says enabled, which means in theory it should show us whatever effects it has built into this helicopter. So we've got stuff like the heat blur, the engine heat blur, and if we scroll down, we've got rotor downwash on dirt, on spray, downwash on water waves, and all of this stuff can be set up individually. So you see everything says dynamic, which I'm just going to leave everything as it is. Whatever says realistic is fine. Whatever says medium is fine. And I'm hoping that it's not going to be a huge FPS hit. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this. As you know, when I do these chill videos, it's very little editing. Whatever happens, happens. Unless it's like a serious technical issue that requires me to pretty much cut out a portion of the video, you can expect to see exactly what happens as I see it. Alright, that being said, let's go ahead and see if we can get this puppy started. Now, I just started the 222 the other day, so I should remember how to do the rest of this, I would assume. Alright, so let's get battery on. Generators will leave off. Fuel valves. Okay, let's get our anti-collision position lights on. Hydraulic switches are on. Lighting, we'll go ahead and leave the lighting off for the time being. I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible here. So there's our fuel valves for engines 1 and 2. And once again, I'm going to hit the fuel prime, but I never did figure out whether or not I have to keep the fuel prime on the entire time or not. So somebody chime in the comments if you know the answer to that. In the interim, we'll get our seat belts, no smoking sign on. We'll leave the cabin lights off. We should probably do a caution and warning panel test, so let's just do that real quick. Yep, everything lit up like a Christmas tree. Wonderful. Alright, we'll leave the GPS off. We'll wait until we get the engine started. And if I remember correctly, I can use the engine assist for that, the start assist on the collective control box here. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, let's start engine 1. Okay, let's go ahead and get our throttle to idle. So that's throttle 1, and remember, I have my throttles on a rotary knob on my Virpil throttle. Or technically the control box that's attached to my Virpil throttle, because I actually have 2 of them. I'll show you a picture right now of my setup, and you can get an idea as to how I have it. So those 2 knobs that I will be pointing at right now, those will be what I have the rotary throttles set to. It just makes sense. It's an axis. It's easy enough for me to grab while I'm unable to see my controls in VR. It just works. Alright, so engine 1 appears to be on. Let's get our generator for engine 1 on. That's not the way I want it. There we go. On. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and get engine 2 up and running. You can see the temperature starting to spike there a little bit. It's going to come back down momentarily. So we get the throttle to idle. Okay, engine 2 is now coming alive, which is great. And while that's going on, since I know I got some juice here, we'll go ahead and get the GPSs up and running. Okay, looking good. DC generator 2, we'll go ahead and get you on. There we go. Okay, I'm also going to get the inverters on. I really don't know if I have to have the inverters on, but we're going to do that. We are going to do that. And we get our instrument lights on, which will give us a nice red glowy light there. Okay. Looks like everything looks good to go, so the only other thing that we need to do now is bring our throttles up to flight idle. So I'm slowly but surely rotating both knobs. Takes a little bit of finger work to get both of those knobs to move at the same time and the same speed. But you can hear the low RPM warning. And we'll continue getting this up to speed. Now we do have an over torque warning. Why do we have an over torque? Oh, this just says the brakes. Is it really the brakes that are causing the caution and warning lights to go off? It most certainly is. Holy crap. Well, we can actually disable the caution and warning lights, but I'm going to forego that for right now. My main thing is that we're up and running, which is what I wanted. Alright, let's get our landing lights on. And Kara, I don't remember. Do I have you set to handle the comms today, darling? If not, we're going to work on that in a second. Let me just set my altimeter really quick. Okay, looks like we're good to go. And we'll open this up, go to the co-pilot assistant, and we'll tell Kara to do her thing.
Ground helicopter, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo, with Charlie request taxi for takeoff west departure.
I have no idea where they're going to send us, you know that.
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo taxi to and hold short of runway 24 using taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 118.4 when ready.
Where'd they say to go?
Taxi, hold short runway 24 using taxiway Alpha helicopter Alpha Golf Bravo.
Okay, sounds good to me. Except I have no idea where any of that is, so yeah. This is going to get interesting. Well, at least the parking brakes are off, so I can cyclic us forward here. Give it a little bit of collective. See which way we move. You can also use the rotor trim to help with that, so that way you're not adding too much cyclic motion. Alright, here we go, baby. Here we go. Let's move. I'm about tempted to just hover taxi instead of trying to taxi the old-fashioned way here. You know what? Let's give it a little more go-go juice. There we go. Now we're moving. Now we are moving. And hey, look, there's my Corsair. I haven't been in that puppy in a while. Alright, I have no idea where this runway is supposed to be, so I'm going to take a guess here. Alright, they said 2-4 and we are currently heading 1-5, so 2-4 is going to be heading that way, which means we want this way. That's what we're going to go with, folks. That is what we're going to go with. So far, so good, huh? Trust me, there is always a chance that I could just completely mess this up. But we're going to try and think positively here. The whole point of a chill video is to show you how intuitive it is in VR, if it is intuitive at all, and how performance-wise everything functions. It's already
Manila
eating
Tower,
resources.
helicopter, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo, ready for departure to the west at runway 24.
Helicopter November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo, wind 272 at 4. Departure to the west approved.
Okay,
Cleared for takeoff runway 24.
what's our message?
Cleared for takeoff runway 24, helicopter Alpha Golf Bravo.
Set course 237. Okay, I can do that. Alright, set course 237. Let's see, where's my course knob is a real question. There we go. Okay, so there's 240, 237. Alright, I think we're good to go. How about you? So, no brakes down, throttles up this time. We're just going to go collective up, move forward, and pray for the best, pretty much. You can already tell this thing wants to roll a little to the left, so that's not necessarily a good thing. But we're going to go for it. And I will say this, I tend to be a little bit more wobbly in wheeled helicopters than I am in helicopters with skids. So, we'll see how well this works. Yep, that was definitely a sketchy takeoff right there. But we are up. And I'm going to go ahead and get our gear up. Of course, it's going to give me the warning. Why not? Alright, so this is the correct direction that we will need to fly. So here we go. We're leaving Manila International. I think it's called Ninoy Aquino International Airport. And I do not believe it is custom. I was given the ICAO code for it as a good starting place for the scenery that we're going to be previewing today. So we got the city of Manila. So that we can show off.
Helicopter Alpha Golf Bravo, continue for west departure.
Okay, we'll do. We'll try not to fly over your terminal, so.
Manila Tower, helicopter, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo, continue for west departure.
Alright, how are we doing on airspeed? About 95 knots-ish. So once we get to the actual area where we will find all of the custom scenery, all of that will change. So we'll basically get out of the city area here and into the wilds, which is what I always look forward to. But first, let's go to the outside view and see if we can get some good cinematic shots here. Always tricky when dealing with helicopters to try and get it stable enough so that way I can get a proper title shot. But hopefully I should be able to get a still out of what we just did. If not, we'll wait until we actually get to the island in question or the coastline, and then we'll go from there. But one thing I do know, we need a little bit more forward airspeed. So let me give it some more collective, and I'm adding more rotor trim to trim us forward here. And we'll see if we can push it past 100 knots. So far, so good.
Helicopter Alpha Golf Bravo leading my airspace frequency change approved.
Okay, good to know.
Manila Tower, helicopter, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo frequency change.
So that's Manila, huh? very big
Approach
city.
helicopter, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo is type helicopter beat 222 4 miles southwest of Manila, 1,500
Okay.
feet.
Helicopter Alpha Golf Bravo radar contact 4 miles southeast of Sangli, 1,600 feet. Altimeter 29.902.
Oh, perfect day.
Roger
29.902.
helicopter Alpha Golf Bravo.
I love it already. Alright, so I'm fairly certain that a lot of what we're seeing here is standard Asobo Microsoft scenery for the Manila Bay area. But I'm also fairly certain that where we're going to is pretty much going to be all Clifford. So, by the way, huge thank you to Clifford for the preview copy of this. I know that as soon as he releases stuff, I'm just like buying it up because it's just so good. Well worth showing off. So I do appreciate that he actually took the time to send this to me ahead of time, with the caveat that it is coming soon. And like I said, that could be anywhere from a week to 2 weeks from the time of this recording. But yeah, you know what? Let's go to the outside view. I want to take a look, using the BelGeode landing cam, of course, at this gorgeous city that we are passing by. And we'll just follow the coastline to where we're headed. One of the things that I've noticed that I really love about active sky is the active turbulence. So you can really tell, especially in those outside camera shots, that we're just kind of bouncing around here. I'm trying to keep her as steady as possible, and I've got her pretty well trimmed out, but as you can see, we're still like rising and falling with thermals and so on. It's pretty neat. I love it. And we're already over 2,000 feet, so I'm going to try and see if I can lower our collective just a touch here and see if we can keep us around 2,000 or between 2,000 and 1,500. You can see our airspeed has certainly shot up, so we're at 130 knots. So I'm going to actually give us a little bit of rear rotor trim, so it's kind of like pitching up. If I let go of the cyclic, you can see we are definitely pitching up and a bit to the right. So a little bit of left rotor trim, and yeah, it's a balancing act, folks. It really is. One thing I have confirmed, however, is that SimFX heat blur effect that we are experiencing outside is not affecting my FPS in VR, which is great. Let me tell you, that was my biggest worry, but I should have known. Parallel 42 is always on the top of their game, and if they bring something out, you can be sure that they have properly tested it to make sure that it is going to do what they would like it to do without having too much of a negative impact on the sim and its users, no matter what type of sim user you are, whether VR or 2D monitor. And I greatly appreciate that. So thank you very much, Parallel 42. That, of course, I did purchase. I did not get a preview copy on that one. So you're getting my raw first impressions of that particular add-on. And so far, it's quite favorable. Now let's see, how much further do we need to go to get to where we are trying to get to is a real question. Let's go menu. See, this is why we need a co-pilot. Actually, this is why we need autopilot. Trying to do this while holding the helicopter steady, yeah, that's a piece of work. That is a piece of work. But as you can see, we're about 7.5 miles. So yeah, getting closer, getting closer. 7.2. And so far we've managed to stay on the magenta line, which is a minor miracle for me. Let me just tell you, I am not used to that. But so far I'm really liking what I'm experiencing here. Of course, the 222, no surprise. We already are used to the 222 UT. The B, pretty much the same thing, only with wheels. And slightly different camera angles, which I will fix. But other than that, yeah, the helicopter doesn't too surprise me. Everything is functioning as it should. Active Sky doing its thing is, of course, making my life a little bit more challenging. But you know what? I welcome that challenge. This is the kind of thing that I live for, being able to fly around in what is essentially live weather. Although, as we know, the way that Active Sky does it, there is a little bit of lag because of the fact that it introduces new weather patterns every 30 minutes or whatever the interval is that you set. I have it by default for 30 minutes. So it's not truly live, as in it's not changing dynamically every minute or so. But you probably could set it up similar to that. I think there are shorter intervals than 30 minutes that you could set up. Personally, I think that would be a little too jarring for me, especially when I'm doing this kind of flight where my focus is actually show you what everything is like in the sim, in particular the scenery in the helicopter. So I'm very much okay with it being 30 minutes before it updates. Alright, so we've got about 3 miles to go until we get to our first waypoint, so I'm going to start looking for it, and I would guess this is where we start getting into Clifford territory. I'm also going to remove all the trims, so rotor trim reset. You'll notice the nose pops up there because I had a lot of forward trim in. So we just quickly lower the collective and that'll even us out. Alright, what are we looking for anyway? USR01, is that correct? I have no idea. We'll find out. We'll get a little bit closer to it here. And I can actually zoom in the bottom GPS. Really should zoom in the top GPS, considering the fact that I'm pretty much blind as a bat anymore. Okay, so it is not exactly here, but it is around this area, which I'm okay with. I'm very much okay with, because this means we can actually get closer and closer to the terrain, and I can go back to the outside view and see how well these effects actually work. Obviously we won't be able to see things like the Aurora Borealis here in the Philippines, but yeah. Alright, what's going on here? Landing gear up. Oh, it's because we're a little bit slow. Alright, well, how about you don't worry about the landing gear. We'll handle that. We'll take care of that. I know there's a horn silence button, but I'll be dang if I can find it right now, and obviously I'm trying to keep us afloat, so yeah, we kind of don't want to worry about that just yet. But I can already start to see some of the telltale signs that we're entering into Clifford country. Look at those rocks. I'm telling you, the man is a genius when it comes to these rock terrain. I haven't seen rocks this good since X-Plane 11. And those of you who are longtime viewers of the channel know exactly who I am talking about. Yeah, this is really good stuff. Look at this. I love it, man. I love it. Alright, I want to say we're getting close to our first stop here, so let me see if I can bring us in. Yeah, that looks to be a wharf right there. We'll go to the outside view and kind of check it out. Oh, stop it. See that, right? Just like Todd Howard says, it just works. That is amazing. Okay, Parallel 42, you done did good on this one. You really did. All right, let me get the landing gear down before this thing really starts yelling at me. I suppose there's a helipad around here, is there? Hey, there is. Look at that, right in front of me. Even better. Okay. I'm not going to lie, folks. I am way better with the UT variant than I am with this thing. But we're going to bring her down anyway. Or at least attempt to. And I'm just fascinated by those waves. I need to stop being fascinated by those waves before we end up in the waves. But yeah, we're going to see if we can pull her in. This is going to get a little tight because I don't have skids. So this may go south really quickly. I need a point of reference as to where my nose gear is, which I don't exactly have. Alright, can I bring her in? Maybe, possibly. Holy crap, how about that? Alright, let me get the parking brakes on. Of course you're going to give me the noise, because you always give me the noise. Where the heck is the thing to mute it? I should know where that is. I really should. No, that's the standby attitude. Oh, you know, that needs to be on anyway. My Kingdom for Horn mute. If only I could remember where the heck it actually was. I thought it was over by the caution and warning panel lights, but you know what? I can just hit that. Yeah, that'll shut it up for a while. Alright, so we are here. We've got downwash effects. We've got a very long pier that I'm going to take a short walk off of. And we'll do that outside. I'll be right back. That's actually pretty serene, isn't it, folks? I keep saying it, and I even commented on one of Steve, aka VR Flight Sim Guy's videos regarding it. This is the kind of stuff that I absolutely love, especially being in VR. Just virtually being in places like this, setting yourself human height, just walking around and taking in the peaceful scenery. This is awesome. And I really wish that they would bring back the whole avatar thing. And if you're curious as to what the avatar is, I'll briefly explain it. So in P3D, in Prepared, I want to say it was V3, V4, and possibly V5. They had this thing called the avatar, where it was basically a human. So you can walk around first person in the world of the flight sim itself. So that way, you can experience things at the proper height, shall we say. Your walking speed was natural, so instead of me using the drone camera like I am right now and adjusting my height with a slider or adjusting my forward speed and my backward speed with my actual joystick, and then using my thumbstick to control which way I'm pointing, of course my head movements. That's another thing. I'm just doing that in VR. But yeah, instead of doing all of that, you have an actual avatar, a physical avatar, and I use the term physical loosely, obviously, and you can just walk around the scenery at human height. And that was the coolest thing that P3D had to offer, because you could hop into your plane from your avatar. Now I'll tell you a little secret. Remember back in 2019 when myself and NovaWing24 and HeliSimmer and Frugal and all of those folks got to go to Seattle? Well, while we were utilizing this very flight sim in its pre-alpha phase, they actually did have something in there that said avatar mode. They were planning on including the capability to do the avatar mode, which I can only assume is really similar, if not the exact same thing, to what P3D has. But then they took it out. So when we ended up getting the alpha and of course the subsequent beta test for this flight sim, it was gone. We no longer had that avatar capability at all. And honestly, folks, I think it needs to make a comeback. I don't expect everybody to be like me, where, you know, you just love exploring the scenery the way that I am right now. But let me tell you something. This, for me, is part of the highlight of being in the flight sim, is seeing other people's work on the scenery and so on. And of course, I've made it no secret that I'm a huge architecture buff, so I love to see how people put stuff together. And I stopped here because that's Bora Bora that we're looking at, which obviously is the last Clifford scenery that you would have seen on this channel, if you're watching in chronological order. But yeah, we got the pool here, we got the resort cabins. The only thing that's missing really are the humans, which I don't know if Clifford plans on adding them in. But remember, this is essentially a beta test or preview version that you're looking at right now, so things may be subject to change. Don't be too surprised if that ends up being the case. All right, but enough of our nature walk here. We're going to head back to the helicopter. Look at that, there's even a camper down there. Look at that. That is so cool. See, I see places like this and I'm like, yeah, this is on the bucket list. This is exactly the kind of place that I would love to go to in real life. And since it's a physical impossibility for me to get to the Philippines right now in real life, then guess what? This will do nicely. All right, back to the helo we go, and then we'll quickly run through some of the other stops on our tour before heading to our final destination, which will be Corregidor Island. And you know what? Let me try something here. I wonder if I can actually walk on the boardwalk here. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Of course, it's kind of fourth wall breaking because you can see me inside the chopper and the door's closed. But hey, we're here. Oh, and I just realized we got a blonde in the back there. Hold on. You didn't tell me there was a blonde in here. Cowan, you're holding out on me. What's up with that? Look at her. Look at him. Well, they're just chilling. And apparently they like my flying, because this is not the first time that they've traveled with me. Okay, so with that done, we are going to head out of here. So let's go ahead and pull the collective up. And remember that this thing does have its brakes on. Want a nice clean getaway here. Okay, that was good. That was really good. All right, now the real question is, where is the waypoint? Let's get our gear back up. Of course it's going to do the thing. Of course it is. Of course it is. Oh wait, is that an animal down there? Or is that a bird? It's something. Maybe it's a chupacabra. No, I think it's a bird. Alright, so we're off to our next stop. And once again, the caution and warning light's going to annoy me. Stop it. Just stop it. Thank you. Okay, so I believe our next stop should be another helipad. Not 100% sure, because this is the first time that I'm flying over this scenery. So I have no clue what to expect. I just basically picked what I thought would be really cool places to visit. And I think this is the second stop here. Hold on, let's take a look. Let's go to the outside to do that. Okay, yeah, that is definitely our helipad. I don't think I want to land on that particular one just yet, because I realize this video is going to get considerably longer if I land at every single helipad. And let's face it, this is a preview. I'm not going to show you the entire scenery pack. I would like for you to purchase this once it's available and discover it all for yourself. But there you go, you got a little bit of a sneak peek. That's how we roll on this channel here. Alright, continuing on, let me give it a little bit of forward trim here. A bit more collective. So yeah, if we follow the coastline here, we should find every single helipad and cabin, cottage, resort, beach, and rock that Clifford has put in. And I'm telling you folks, he never disappoints. He never disappoints. Everything is so cool. Now I do understand he is continuing the work on the Tahiti and Bora Bora region. I want to say the island that's coming up may be closer to Tahiti, but obviously I'm not good with any of those names, so don't even ask me to pronounce it. But I do know he is working on something along those lines. Oh, look, there's another bay and another helipad. That's so cool. I'm telling you, folks, I love this stuff. I absolutely just love this stuff. And look, there's a better helipad right in there. And I think there's even a helicopter down there. Hold on, let's swing around again. We'll go to the BelGeode landing cam and see what we can find here. And of course it's going to make the noise. Why? Because it always makes the noise. Alright, let's bring ourselves down gently here. This is not one of our scheduled stops. We're actually in between legs here. You'll see that the magenta line extends off to the left there. But I'm kind of curious to see this little helipad and heliport that they've given us. I'm more curious to see what type of helicopter they've got parked there. Alright, so let's slowly but surely bring her down. Coming down at a sprightly 600 to 700 feet per minute vertically. So you know what that means. You gotta keep an eye on your collective and make sure you're putting in just enough collective input to stabilize that descent rate. You don't want to get it past 1,000 or worse 1,500 feet per minute descent, because that ends up being pretty fatal at this altitude. And you all know what I'm talking about. Alright, let me back us up here a bit. Okay, that's our low alt warning. I want to make sure I'm over the water. Oh, gotta watch out for seagulls too. Yeah, we don't want a bird strike. We do not want a bird strike. Alright, let me get the gear down. I want to see something here, folks. I want to see, first off, if we have downwash over this sand, or if the sand does not count. Like I said, I know this is an unscheduled stop, but just bear with me here. It's for science. Oh yeah, oh yeah, we got dirt. We got puffs of dirt. I love it. I love it. And as noted earlier, it is not affecting my FPS negatively. So really, Parallel 42, I don't know how you just did this voodoo, but man, yeah, you got my full thumbs up on that one. And, aha, I thought as much. It's a Huey. There is a Huey parked right here. I don't know which model that is. Is that the H? Yeah, it might be an H model. But that's so cool. Look at that. A Huey right here. I love it. I'm going to go back to the BelGeode landing cam so I can ogle it further here. There's just something about a Huey, folks. There's just something about a Huey. Love it. Alright, let's head to our next destination, and then after that we've got 2 more stops before we reach to our final destination, which I will remind you is Corregidor Island. Alright, so we're just going to go over here and see if we can locate the next stop, which is approximately 0.9 miles away. So yeah, it's pretty close. I want to say it's on the other side of this bay here. Let me see if I can zoom this in without crashing. Okay, right about there should be good. Alright, so what are we looking at here? We've got more lovely rocks. We've even got a yacht out in the middle of the water, and ooh, that is a giant-sized helipad. I probably could have brought the Chinook in on that. Oh, wow. That is awesome. Okay, so that was our next place that we could stop. We're going to forego actually going around and checking it out. Instead, we're going to head down this way because I believe along this side, Clifford has a number of campsites, log cabins, and beach houses. At least I want to say that's what he's got in store for us, but we'll find out, of course. Alright, what is this saying? I can't tell, because it just disappeared. Why did you disappear? Anyway, let's go back to the outside view and check out the scenery some more. Now this is the kind of stuff that I really love, because he didn't have to do all of this. There was no need whatsoever to add little villages and so on in here. But yet he did. And it's awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. it just really gives you a feel of what it would be like to live in the Philippines. And if I remember correctly, I believe Clifford is actually from the Philippines. So yeah, he should definitely know his home turf better than the rest of us, I would imagine. Unless, of course, you're watching this and you're also from the Philippines, in which case you can probably vouch for it as well. But yeah, this is just awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. And I realized I dropped my gear a little prematurely because I figured there was probably going to be a helipad here, but it does not appear that there is. So we'll leave the gear out for now. But we'll see if we can get over this saddle ridge here in front of us. We'll try not to fly too fast. So I'm giving it a fair amount of collective here just to get that forward speed, and then slowly but surely relaxing my grip on the cyclic, which will of course shoot us up until I see that magenta line and figure out where the heck we need to go. We are going to stop at this particular waypoint, and then it's going to be a straight sprint to Corregidor Island, which I can only assume is one of those islands over there. But either way, we'll figure it out. Alright, so I need to sharply hang a left and figure out where this place is. How much you want to bet it's on top of a mountain? Be willing to bet. Do I hear any takers? Oh, it is totally on top of a mountain. You knew this was coming. You knew this was coming. Look at that. Look at that. Oh yeah, we totally have to do that. That's not even a question, even though there's birds all over the dang place. We'll see if we can get underneath them, because the last thing that I want is a bird strike, of course. Gear is down. We'll even put our landing lights on. And let's see if we can turn ourselves around and bring ourselves in. Here's where the fun starts. Look at that house too. You know, that has a very Frank Lloyd Wright feel. If you're familiar with the works of Frank Lloyd Wright, a very famous architect. He made the Falling Water house, among many, many others. Falling Water is located in my state, Pennsylvania, probably about an hour, hour and a half south of me. Ironically, I've never actually been there. I've been past it a few times though. But yeah, this definitely has that kind of vibe. So I'm kind of curious, Clifford, when you get the inspiration or the ideas to make these houses, are you drawing from actual houses that are present in this area, or are you using your imagination or like the works of Frank Lloyd Wright to come up with these ideas? Because however you're doing it, man, you're doing great. Alright, once again, we'll go back to the drone camera outside, we'll take a quick look around, and then we'll begin the long sprint to our final destination. I gotta say, one of the things that I really love about all of Clifford's scenery is the rocks. There's just something about the way the texture is, you know, attached to the actual mesh that makes his rock structures look so much more real than anything that Asobo and Microsoft have given us by default. I can almost tell you what type of rocks each of those are. Like, that looks to be either shale or granite. It's just nuts. Of course, who am I kidding? I don't know all the names of the rocks, so I can't tell you them all, but those are the first two that came to mind, so we'll just roll with that, right? And as you can see, the helicopter just looks at home here. And that really, truly is the best part of this. The whole synergy between the aircraft and the scenery just gets me every time. And then, of course, with the exceptional add-ons like the SimFX an active sky working on top of everything else, it just completes the entire ecosystem, if you will. This is flight simming done right. Seriously. Alright, but back inside we go. We are about 10 miles away from Corregidor Island, our final destination, and it looks like it is going to be due north from here. So once again, I'm going to change our heading bug here. We'll just set it to due north. And that should do the trick. Okay, so here we go. Collective coming up. A little bit of left pedal. A little bit of left cyclic. And a little bit of back cyclic too. So that way I can back us out of here. Still kind of heavy on the left pedal here. Just trying to get us away from the cliff face. We'll get our gear up while we're at it. Turn our landing lights off. Okay, we are off the cliff, which is wonderful. And let's get going. Alright, so let's see, which way are we headed here? Almost the way we need to go. Right about there. Okay, so I was correct. That long, skinny island there ahead of us, that's going to be our next destination. So I'm going to dip the nose forward here. We're going to gain a lot of airspeed. I'll slowly but surely come off of the pedals and correct our direction. So you can see we're at 1100 in altitude. We're at about 100 in forward airspeed, and all we need to do now is just sprint north. That's it. Just sprint north. And we'll look for the airstrip, and we'll look for the helipad. Now, I'm also going to be looking for a landmark that I think is on this island. I could be wrong. I probably should have asked Clifford before I decided to record, but we're going to see if we can find it. And I'll explain it to you if we find it. If not, I'll just show a picture of it. But yeah, for now, we'll go back to the outside view really quick here. Wait, is that a balloon? I do believe that is a balloon. Hold on a second here. Now I gotta check this out. Oh, that's so cool though. I'm not sure what's up with the roads. Are the roads supposed to look like that? I'm not 100% sold on the roads. But yeah, look at all of this. This is so cool. Alright, we need to get a little bit closer to this thing and figure out what in the heck is going on here. Clifford, you got some splaining to do. The sky is calling. And a little Microsoft Flight Simulator logo. That's awesome. That is truly awesome. And so far I'm not seeing the landmark that I'm looking for, but I'm going to show you a picture of it. With my luck, it's probably not even on this island and I'm looking in the wrong place. But I don't want to take too much more of your time. We are looking to end the video at this point, so let me go ahead and drop my gear so this thing will shut up. I hope. There we go. And we're going to see if we can find where this helipad is that they want me to land. It's up here somewhere, isn't it? Yeah, something's definitely up with those roads there, Clifford. Not sure that you intended for them to look that way. But either way, still looking for a good place to land. Worst case scenario, we can always bring her down at that airstrip that we saw earlier, but I'm kind of counting on the fact that there's probably a helicopter pad around here somewhere. Got to make the Don of the helicopter mafia, Sergio, proud by landing on a helipad. After all, he does a lot of work making sure that it has helipads. And I think I found our landing spot. Of course, we will need to turn around, so let's see if we can bring her in on Corregidor Island, and we can call this puppy done. I'm going to do a pedal turn here, which of course will bleed off our forward airspeed tremendously. This is what you would call a confined area landing. Although I'm sure the real helicopter pilots in the audience are like, you call that confined? Psh, you got miles of space, man. But either way, we're going to bring her in, and we're going to call the video right there. Alright, push her forward a bit, bring her down. So yeah, the Cowansim Bell 222 Bravo model. Awesome bird, Airwolf heritage. Nothing more really needs to be said about it. You know this bird, you love this bird, and it still is a classic and a legend in flight sim. Totally worth it. And then add to that the fact that Parallel 42 finally has us getting that rotor wash there, that downwash. It's just a match made in heaven, really. So awesome. Look at that. That is what I'm talking about. I love that stuff. Alrighty, folks, but you know what? That will do it for me. So, on behalf of Kara and myself, I would like to thank you for watching. This has been BelGeode. I am flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're still waiting for Sim Update 15, but supposedly it is coming soon, quite possibly this month, May of 2024. One final reminder, next month, June 2024, Flight Sim Expo. This is the last time I'm going to show their logo on my screen. So after that, I will either see you there or I will see you online, because as I said, I do plan on having videos on YouTube. I can't guarantee that they will be actually live streams, but they will most certainly be from the event. So look out for that. You will see that on this channel, and make sure that you've got your subscriptions and your notifications turned on, so that way you can be notified when I show you some of the goodies that are going to be happening in Vegas. And I will remind you, the aircraft we've been showcasing has been Cowansim's Bell 222 Bravo model, the sister to the UT model that we showed previously. The scenery is not yet released, but it is by Clifford. It is the Manila Bay Scenery Pack. It will be coming soon, probably about a week, maybe 2 weeks, if that much. So look out for that in the usual places where you buy aircraft or scenery. And go ahead and pick that up once it comes out. Just bear in mind what you're seeing now is a preview copy, so it may not look like this in the final version, but it should be pretty close, just a little bit more cleaned up. And I will also remind you to get our funky effects here, our rotor downwash and everything. We have been using the brand spanking new Parallel 42 SimFX, which is more than just for helicopters. It'll work for airliners, it'll work for fighter jets, it'll work for GA. It will work for everything. And guess what, Sergio? You'll be happy to hear. It has tire smoke. Ooh, that's an inside joke between me and the Three Grumpy Simmers. You can watch Nova Wing 24's channel on the Three Grumpy Simmers, and no doubt you'll hear Sergio bemoan the existence of tire smoke. And I will remind you, I'm using Active Sky for FS, and so far, I gotta say, it's really growing on me. I may never use the default live weather ever again. At least not for recording purposes anyway. Alright, but that's about all I've got for show and tell, so thank you again for watching. If you enjoy what you've seen, please feel free to give a like. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and turn your notifications on so you'll find out what's going on in Vegas. And remember, what happens in Vegas stays on the internet. That's how it goes, right? Just nod your head yes and agree with me. And we'll leave it at that. No more shall be said. Alrighty, folks. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.